I'll work on this one. All right, so we're live, and we're going to wait for Irina. She's coming. This is one of these. Hey, everybody, it's Pete from the Break It Down Show. This is we do these comedy shows with comedians that Matt sets them up. Matt Balaker's with me, and we do it because of Save the Brave. Save the Brave is one of the founders of Save the Brave is a guy named Nick Velez, and he's a restaurateur, and he owns a new restaurant that's opening up, any week now in Temecula called Bastards. There's one in Downey, California. Now there's going to be one in Temecula. I like to say Temecula like a Texan, man. Temecula. And there's going to be a performance venue at this Bastards, and we're going to have comedians. We're going to have bands too, but we're going to have comedians also. And so it's in an effort to kind of prime the pump, especially since COVID kind of smashed our plans last year. We've been having comedians on over the last year, and it's fun to talk about that. And it's also fun, Matt, to be able to say, hey, we're about to start booking shows.
Yeah, I mean, it's smash live comedy, but it's great for monthly podcasts. So it's all trade-offs, Pete.
Right. Yeah, exactly. What, I've learned a lot from you talking about like what it takes to book out a room and to have a comedy room and everything, and to have a show. And it's not just big names. It's a lot of it is on the audience. And you brought this to my attention, the local comedians. You think, they're small time, they're not that funny. But the thing is that they are funny and they bring their people with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, comedy, you can go to any city or even any rural area now in America, and there's going to be some funny people. It probably wasn't that way in the 80s or 90s. Everyone kind of congregated to Houston. That was a big hub. Then obviously LA, New York, parts of Florida. But now you could be anywhere. There's going to be some funny dudes and funny ladies.
Funny ladies. Are ladies as funny as dudes now? Like it used to be for a long time, like you were a female comedian. It feels like that's not as much of a thing anymore.
Or they'd say comedian. I think I got in trouble for that. But yeah, I think it was Maria Bamford had a funny line. No, women are just as funny. It just, we're not as insecure and
right.
Have better things to do with our lives. But it'll be good to get Irina's take because there's a lot of hilarious, Sarah Silverman's been doing it for a long time, but there's so many. Christina P, Irina Skaya, Eliza. There's tons, and I think it's kind of cool to see.
When we see a lot of the things, comedians seem to enjoy, for the most part, playing in that dangerous PC space. And I'm saying PC to take the least offensive way to say people that are easily offended. But comedians love that space for the most part. There are some that don't want to mess with it at all, but it seems to be like your guys' job to push us on mores and memes and norms and everything.
It'd be pretty boring if you were just reinforcing, the popular opinion. That happens, but I think Colin Quinn has mentioned that. It's like, you kind of get into it to ruffle feathers. But if you're just ruffling feathers and sacrificing funny, you're never going to get booked, and that's boring too. I think that's the real line, is like balancing what you want to say versus what's entertaining.
Is there a better comedian right now than Dave Chappelle? He kills that part of it.
Probably. I'm not going to argue with that, especially I think Bill Burr is a good example of someone who kind of like push things, but then it's still funny. But I think Chappelle's he's been doing it for so long, and he can get so many people of diverse backgrounds to love him. And I think that's the mark of a really great performer.
Yeah, he's incredible. Who else do you love? Like when they come on, like you go, man, it's just always thought provoking. Like the George Carlins of our day now.
Gosh, that's a great question. Bill Burr comes to mind. I personally Colin Quinn, and I'm not saying he's just like the best pure comic ever. Just like I like him so much. He could read numbers in his iPhone, and I would laugh. Tom Segura is one where I think you can kind of say anything and it's pretty funny. But obviously I was a big Geraldo fan, and to me there hasn't been anyone who's really got to that point since. But also I love doing comedy and I like going to shows, but when I was younger I like to just watch everything. I was a big like Rodney Dangerfield fan. Or HBO would have these specials, and I'd enjoy that. But I don't really watch that many like Netflix specials. Like I watch Chappelle, I watch Bill Burr, but it's pretty much it. How about you? Do you watch a lot of stand up, or what? When you watch it, who do you gravitate towards?
I've been behind the curtain enough with comedians that it's hard for me to really get lost in, and you must appreciate this. We're like, and I'm just going to pick a name. Anthony Jeselnik to me is funny, but he's only like a 7. Like he doesn't like his jokes are predictable. I'm going to say, and I'm being completely unfair, right? But there's a lot of comedians like that for me where it's like watching a sitcom. And I already know the jokes because I've already watched Cheers. I've already watched I Love Lucy. And it's like the same thing over and over again, right? It doesn't mean I don't enjoy Anthony Jeselnik because I do. And I watch, but I think he's so good at it. He makes it look easier than it really is. But he also, I don't think he pushes it into a spot where he will get me as an audience member. Like, I mean, I can watch Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle can't produce enough specials. Like, I have to know what he's thinking. I'll never say that about Anthony Jeselnik. And again, I'm being completely unfair because I really do enjoy him. But there's a certain level of comedian that it takes to get me to really pay attention. Look, there's certain look, I'm a complete hypocrite because there are certain comedians that are absolute silly goofballs that do poop humor and I can't get enough of them,
Yeah.
I just I can't stop. But I like to be pushed out of my comfort zone with thoughtful critique on humanity. I think is probably my favorite kind of comedy. Like, I can't remember the guy's name right now. You'll maybe remember his name. He's the guy, he was the political comedian who played the piano. He was always on PBS. His name is like Mark. I can't think of his last name.
Not ringing a bell.
Yeah, you would recognize him if you saw him. I think he might even still be around. He'd be pretty old by now. But he was thought provoking, and he used his piano playing and his joke telling to put you in a spot where you're like, and everybody got it from him. He wasn't right. He wasn't left. Everybody got hammered. It looks like Irina's trying to be here, but we don't have.
Okay, look, I'm shit at technology. You guys, come on.
You're good at funny, bad at technology.
I know the best looking one here. She has to have her photo up at least.
Yeah, hey, we're still having the good looking competition between you and I right now because your hair is nice. I've got a hat on.
Oh,
I got this handsome beard.
It's very handsome, Pete.
It says you guys can see me.
It's just a screen. There's no image yet, but
no, that's me. That's perfect. It says everyone can see and hear you.
Yeah. Well, do you want to come out and come back in? I'm going to kick you out and come right back.
Okay, kick me out. Okay.
Bye.
Right. Get out of here, Irina. I don't want you around here anymore. I've got to get like a corny like toilet flush button sound effect, But what do you think about that, though? Like my criticism of someone like Anthony Jeselnik, and you don't have to say anything bad about him, but just like there's like a level of comedy where it's like good, solid. You're like maybe on your best special, you're an all-star second baseman, but most of the time you're just a fantastic professional comedian who can play all kinds of rooms. But you're not. Not everybody can be Kevin Hart. Not everybody can be Dave Chappelle. And Anthony Jeselnik is hilarious. There's just so many comedians like that. Like Tosh is similar like that to me.
I think you're kind of playing the same song in a way. I think maybe like with Jeselnik, it would be great to see him get his own show again, or maybe write a movie. I don't know, kind of like shake it up a little and then come back. But again, I mean, I think he's great. So I would love to have his career or even part of it. But I think there's something to be said for comics that really need to get something off their chest and then they do a special versus like, all right, I want to get paid now, so I'm going to do a special.
You know who I saw that I don't think is funny at all is, at least in the stand-up sense, is Pauly Shore. Terrible. It was terrible.
Where did you see him? I've never seen him really do stand. I know he does it. I've never seen it.
It wasn't even stand-up. He basically played a bullshit kind of game show. And I was like, I spent whatever, $60. It was a date. I took a girl out on a date.
Oh, that
and I'm
sucks.
Like, yeah, and she loved Pauly Shore, and I'm like, well, hopefully you liked it. And she's like, it was okay. Basically, we got to hang out with Pauly Shore, and he entertained us, but it wasn't funny. But I love his stupid movies, though.
I still love Son-in-Law. It's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
So is Irina trying to get back in? Sorry,
I hope so.
Right. Oh, okay.
So. If not, we'll just keep talking about comedy.
That's fine.
Yeah. Do you write jokes every day?
I write ideas every day. And I write a lot more jokes when I know I have a show coming up. It's funny how that happens.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is, you'll post something on social media, and sometimes it's like maybe a clever thing to say, and it doesn't translate well live, and vice versa. Sometimes it's like, I think the best way to write is you have an idea and then you work it out on stage. But I try to write something every day, but it's usually when the inspiration strikes, and watching news or talking to people usually strikes inspiration.
Yeah. Do you like to take your idea and then try to find that twist of, like the actual turn of a phrase? Like often I'll say, instead of saying there's a method to my madness, I'll say there's a madness to my method.
Oh, flipping it around. So subversive.
Yeah. Right. And you just take those things like, you know a lot about sports. And so I would always say about Notre Dame, like if you're the coach and you don't win, you're not with the program. So you're not with the program, and they send you home, Do you do those kind of things where you look for those ways to, turn your camera 90 degrees, Irina? It'll look better. Whoa. There it is. Look at that. Oh, there's two of you.
Oh my God. This is, you won't believe it, but I've been on this for about an hour now. So.
Oh, God.
Okay.
All right. Is this good?
Well, that's
guys?
A good one. Yeah.
But right here, like this, right, guys? Like this.
Yeah, with your hand right in the.
$10. Does anyone know anything about that movie?
No. What movie is it? Hang on, let me make you bigger.
Director of the case.
All right, now we can look at it. No, I don't know that movie. Is that a porn?
Monica Bellucci in the movie Melina.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
I like this cinema trivia. They're very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Irina,
I'm very pretentious.
Will you introduce yourself for us? Will you just say something like, "This is Irina Skaya, and you're watching the Break It Down show"?
This is Irina Skaya, and you're watching the Break It Down show.
Nailed it. That was perfect. Great job, Irina.
Hi, guys. I'm so sorry I'm late. I just got a baby.
A baby? What?
It's a pug.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah, so I have to take care of him.
Very cool. Nice. Where are you joining? Are you in what state are you in?
Arizona.
Nice.
Yeah. When the pandemic happened and everything closed in LA, I decided to move to Arizona where guns are the law, and nothing closed here because COVID is a state of mind. Okay. Nice. Well, we want to get into having me. Of course. Thanks for doing it. So Irina is a hilarious comedian. One of my favorites, although unfortunately it's, shows have been in lockdown for a while. So I haven't had the pleasure of watching her perform for a while, but you have a very unique story, and we don't have to get into every aspect of your life, but can you rewind a bit and discuss where you grew up initially and then how you ended up in the US of A? I love that you guys are so professional, and I'm here with my Blair Witch handheld fucking sorry. I actually just moved into this place. I'm turning it into a studio. So nice. By the way, the only reason I have Facebook is because of you. Me too. We have that in common. Sorry. Your Facebook posts are fucking hilarious. It makes my day. They're the best. Well, thank you. And everyone, it's Matt Balaker. It's sad when my career is on Facebook now, but thank you very much. And I'm glad someone pays attention. So thank you, Irina. My dad really likes you too. Well, I like him now. Anyone who isn't a fan of communism, my dad likes. Well, it's funny when my mom left a communist country, forcefully, and your parents kind of did too. So it's weird how that colors one's worldview. Yeah. We're from Ukraine. I was born in Kyiv. Came here when I was young, and that really did color my ideas about the world and how I view culture, how I view politics, how I view feminism. All the above. Why I'm considered a Nazi. Just basic everyday stuff. Well, you're Jewish, right? So naturally, people should call you a Nazi. That makes sense. Everyone knows the scariest Nazis are Jewish and the scariest white supremacists are black. So, can you rewind a bit? But I know you were young, but how old were you when you came to the U.S. and under what circumstances? 6. I was 6 years old, and it was a shipping container. No, I'm kidding. Actually, it was a refugee status because as a Jewish family, my dad faced a lot of discrimination, anti-Semitism. I mean, I even want to say persecution. You know, my grandpa went to jail for a long time for being Jewish, and
oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can't really talk about that, but you know, because I'm white, right? So
right.
Yeah. And we came here because it was just the opportunities that my dad could have had were taken away. And my mom marrying, she was not Jewish, but my mom marrying a man who was Jewish really diminished her chances of air quote normal life in Ukraine. So that's why we moved here for more opportunity, and my parents moved here for their kids to have more chances to do better, to not face discrimination, and you know, that whole Martin Luther King thing about color of their skin and yada yada. I forget the quote.
Content of character or something like that.
Something ridiculous like that, right?
So, what do you remember from the Ukraine?
Well, I don't remember much, but I would go back a lot, and I was just there actually 4 years ago. We lived on a farm, so we have a lot of farmland, and all my relatives still live there. And when I go there, I stay with them. I am part of the. I'm a farm girl when I go there.
Nice.
Yeah, which means they keep me in the house and don't let me touch anything outside because I destroy everything. And I think just meeting the people there and comparing it to what is considered difficult in America versus what is considered difficult there. I mean, I grew up not too far from Chernobyl, right? And
oh, wow.
when I went back there, I broke out in hives immediately. My whole body was just red, these rashes. My sister had them too, and it's because the water, the air, the land, it's all tainted there. And we talk about, you know, Flint, Michigan had really dirty water, but Ukraine is still, I mean, Chernobyl is still up, right? It's still there. It's in the land. It's even the vegetables that they grow there, they're not organic because
probably not. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of my, I guess, history in a nutshell. And in February of last year, I was bringing Louis C.K. to Ukraine, to Kyiv to perform. He was going to be the first American comedian there. And COVID happened. And now February 2022, I'll be taking him to Ukraine, and he'll be performing there at the Palace Theater. So
wow. So how did that happen? How did you organize that?
I met him in Florida at a show, and I just thought it would be a really great idea to take someone who's canceled here and bring him to a country where he won't be canceled, where he's still, you know, really loved. Although he sells out wherever he goes.
That's true.
In America,
I'd love to be canceled like he is. That'd be a huge step up.
I always say that I hope my career one day is as big as it has to be in order for me to be canceled.
Yeah, then
that's
you've made
when you
it.
know you've made it.
So, are there enough English speakers there that would get his humor, or is it just? How does that work?
Interesting enough, we do have a lot of English speakers, but what they do is they have a person there who translates in real time. I know. So the seats
Someone's going like this.
Yeah, these microphones. I know, right? I was just imagining him.
Yeah.
So they have these microphones. They put them in their ears, and the guy on stage translates in real time. I know, it's gonna be amazing. And you know, he rehearses with Louis, so he's right. The intonation, the sort of expression, the volume, it all has to be. I mean, that's a whole profession there, translating comedians. So yeah, come down, Matt. Come down.
I gotta book my tickets for 2022.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that when you come back, it's with a Ukrainian wife.
Yes.
My current one will be cool with that. I'm sure we could use the help. Thank you.
And what's the impetus to do the podcast? Was it just You guys were bored, or what was the?
Pretty much, yeah. We're
Okay.
nothing to do,
Yeah.
and no. Pete can give you a better breakdown, but it stems around from a show that we're going to put on at a place called Bastard's Canteen in Temecula. And initially, it was supposed to happen last year, and this was a way to promote it. And the shows didn't happen, but we figured we'd go ahead with the podcast.
Stayed.
The podcast stayed, yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete, Matt was telling me about the show. That's really awesome that you, I mean, it's military based or?
Nah, it's life based. So, I mean, I'm a military guy. There's been a lot of military guests, but there's been a lot of authors, political figures, musicians, comedians, artists of all kind, actors, directors. So it's just a lot of different things because that's what life is, you know, and we I like to try to bring ground truth. Like you talk about coming up in the Ukraine, and like when people say white people, like if you lined up all of the white countries in Europe and you put someone who represented that, none of those people would look the same. They would all be different, and they wouldn't say that, yeah, I'm like all these other people. You know, I mean, we've lost sight of these things. So we'll discuss that. We'll bring the reality of you know, a young Ukrainian girl who's forced out for religious and political reasons, you know, on the show.
You said young and thin Ukrainian girl, right?
Yes, young and thin and beautiful, with every chance in the world. But you know, like we have this perception. And I think this is interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. That America is anti-immigrant. You know, that we all hate immigrants. But the reality is we love immigrants, and there are so many stories where people come here because. Like if you're going to pick a country to go to, we're not the only one, but the United States is one of the places where we can leave everything. We can leave our ancestral farming land, all of our heritage and culture. We can come here and not only have a real shot, someone's likely to see us and go, I see how hard you're working. Let me give you a hand up. You know, and that's not right. You couldn't do that in Cambodia.
No, this is one of the few places that hard work does pay off, right? And of course we have nepotism and we have all these isms now, but regardless of where you're from, whether you have an accent, whatever gender you are, skin color, if you work hard and you're good at what you do, people will notice. You will break through. And in Ukraine at that time, there was just no chance it was going to happen. It was only if you know, your mother's famous or you're connected politically to someone. Other than that, you know, you're just part of the general sheep. Yeah, but it's not like that now. Actually, Ukraine and Russia have more freedom than America. You can say whatever you want in Ukraine and Russia. You can even talk about the president there now, and here not so much. Funny how that happened. My dad said, you know, we left so much for you guys to come here and have freedom, and now we're wondering how to get back.
Yeah, are you going to stay there? Is the family going to stay there after the Louis C.K. show?
I mean, we might if we're lucky enough to you know, see his penis. No, I'm kidding.
I think you might be. Yeah,
it's actually going to be the biggest credit on my resume. No, we can't stay there. We're too Americanized, and you know, our home is here. My parents own a restaurant.
Yeah, your farm skills are crap. You mentioned that.
They're absolute crap, and I'm too old to be a hooker. So
that is not true in America. No. That's not true.
Yeah, in America.
Right, in America. Yeah, I actually a few days ago I told my dad. I said, Dad, I'm really thankful that you guys brought us to America and the sacrifices you made. I said, if we would have stayed in Ukraine, I would have been, you know, an escort. And he said, that is absolutely false. You definitely wouldn't have made it. I mean, the bar over there is so high. And then my mom chimed in and goes, no, Alex, of course you wouldn't have made it. I mean, Irina, you wouldn't have been, you know, top 10. All those quarters, you wouldn't have been there. So you're lucky you're in America. It's like, oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah. I like that perspective. So how was it Arizona? Like how did you end up in the Great Southwest?
Well, the refugee program that agreed to sponsor us. Years ago, you had to be sponsored and welcomed into America, and they offered us two places that we could go to, which was Arizona or New York. And New York was just another cold place for my mom. So she said, you know, let's see what this is about. And they ended up loving it, and they ended up staying here. Me and my sister and my brother all moved once we got older, but My parents stayed in Tucson. My grandma stayed, and yeah, we built a life here.
So what did they do for a living in Arizona?
They own a Russian deli / restaurant. It's the only one. I mean, who would have thought, right? The competition is so slim. They own a restaurant deli, but originally my mom was a lawyer and a gemologist, and my dad was an engineer, and he owned his own body shop.
Wait, a lawyer and gemologist and engineer.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Idiots.
Idiots. Just idiots.
And they opened their own, deli restaurant, and they've been there. They've had it for like 20 years, and they've been married for 35. So they really scare their children, because we know we have no hope of being in a 35-year relationship with anyone. That is scary. Like when I go on dates and guys find out that my parents are still together, it's usually the last date, because that's just too much.
Too much pressure.
Too much pressure.
Like, she's got daddy issues. She knows who he is, and he's married to her mom.
She's too close to her father.
I'm curious about when you go back. You say you're too American now. I mean, do they see you guys? Do they see your parents as being Ukrainian, or do they see you as being Americans? And then on the other side of that, you can never be an American because you didn't leave here 10,000 years ago. So you're not from here either. So are you really from the Ukraine when you guys go back, or does that time pass for you guys?
Pete, isn't America just a state of mind, right? How you feel in here, right?
Yeah. Only if you're not an asshole.
Also, it's just Ukraine. There's no the.
Oh.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Fun fact.
Yeah. It's like Sky Dome. There's no the.
There's no the, right. Actually, on my dad's passport in Ukraine, my dad isn't even considered Ukrainian. He's considered Jewish. It's a whole separate. Yeah, I know. Wow. So when we go back, even though my parents grew up there, they have an accent now. So when they go there, we always say it's like we're living on the border, right? Mm-hmm. So we're not Ukrainian anymore, but we're not fully American. So we're kind of in this, I don't want to say this limbo, right? It feels like we're not fully there and we're not fully here. But when we go to Ukraine, I don't want to say they get mad at us, but they'll always feel like we don't understand because we weren't there when the war started, with Russia, when they took over Crimea, right? We weren't there during all those struggles. And they have this idea of America that it's like in the movies, right? It's really easy. Everyone has a beach house, mm-hmm. That whole like 90210 thing. And life in America is just a paradise. So I think there is a little resentment there. But when I go there, I do feel like I'm at home. I do. Even though I have a Russian accent when I speak, and my parents do as well, it still feels like home because the people there are, I don't know, warm in a different way. Mm-hmm. They only ask questions if they really want to know the answer. And I know, right? Like in America, it took me so long to get used to, hey, how are you? And then mm-hmm. not answering that, for like 10 minutes. You would say how you really are.
Like, we don't really mean it. We just making conversation.
Right. And yeah, that took a long time for me to realize they actually mean it when they talk to you, and they're genuinely curious about your life. And you can I don't have lifelong friends here, but in Ukraine, the majority of people I know and my relatives have lifelong friends there because it's just a sense of camaraderie and warmth,
Very nice.
Yeah.
So at what age did you start to, like, did you ever feel like the foreigner when you came here, and at what age did that change, if it ever did?
Oh my God. Yeah. I had this accent, this, like James Bond villain accent. And I got made fun of a lot. I was called, your mom's a prostitute, your dad's an alcoholic, all of this stuff. That's real, but
also a geminologist and an attorney, so they need to look at the resume.
No, I did. I got made fun of a lot. Actually, I was picked on a lot for being an immigrant, and now it's cool, but back then it wasn't. And I never really felt like I fit in with kids my age. They were really mean, and the only way I was able to combat that was through comedy. And really making fun of them. And, then learning karate. And that really helped.
And guns, you mentioned that.
Yeah, that really helped. So, yeah, that was, yeah.
So, yeah, when did you get into comedy?
Like 5-6 years ago. Yeah, I kept going to a show and heckling the comedian like a piece of shit. And the comedian finally said, hey, do you want to do comedy? And I said, yeah, I'm way funnier than you. And I got on stage. He took me to an open mic. I got on stage, and it turns out I was funny. And and then I just kept going. But I always wanted to do stand-up. I didn't have the courage to do it. I almost needed someone to give me permission and tell me I could do it, or at least try it. And I guess it's been 5-6 years. How long have you been doing it, Matt?
A little bit longer than that.
Okay. Do you do it?
No, about 17, 18 years.
Oh, fuck off. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was 7 when I started.
I'm sorry. Can I curse? I'm sorry.
Yes, you can.
Of course.
Well, I mean, it's Pete's show, but yeah.
Okay, great. Awesome. Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Is that good? Can you guys see me? Is that good?
No. So were you into acting though before stand up, or did you have any entertainment background?
Yeah, I did theater actually for many years in Russia and in England. I went to England in college to do theater, and then I came out to LA for theater.
Okay.
And I did do film, but it just I don't know, something was missing. I think just the having a being able to really show your personality.
Mm-hmm. And are you still going to pursue acting, or is that ship sailed? What?
You guys are following me. Tyson, don't do that. My dog's name is Mike Tyson. Because he's a biter. That's true. I don't care about acting anymore. Because I haven't really seen any movies that I like or care about. I'm not inspired by it anymore. And really, it's become so PC. It's not about the story. It's not about what you're trying to convey to the audience. It's about a message, and it hits you so hard. All me and my dad do is talk about old movies that we watched when we came to America and how great they were. And that's it. Acting doesn't really move me anymore.
Yeah, so what are some of the favorite old movies you and your old man enjoyed?
Well, our favorite daddy-daughter movie is Basic Instinct. No, it's 9.5 Weeks. I love, I'm saying American movies. I love foreign films, though. Italian movies, Melina, one of my favorites. But American movies, the three that we really, really love. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, we watched really inappropriate movies together as a family. Like me and my mom and my dad watched really not child-friendly movies. The one we were Indecent Proposal.
Okay.
Me and my dad were talking about that a few days ago. I love Men in Black, the original. Mm-hmm. My dad still can't get over the comedy of a white man being called Mr. Black and a black man being called Mr. White. And that's that's their name in the movie. He loves it. He thinks it's comedy gold. God, there's so many. I am such a movie buff. They're all leaving me now, but it's all the ones from the 90s, like maybe up to 98. Mm-hmm. Up to 98, where they didn't have a set of people you have to have in the movie, right? Like now there's a quota.
Yeah.
Right? There is. No, they released like a whole list of who has to be in the movie, and now movies aren't great.
That's like when they got mad at Gal Gadot for playing not ISIS, but what's that Egyptian lady's name? I can't think of it right now. Cleopatra. And it's like you realize she's from Israel, which is literally like right around the corner. So you can it just doesn't make any damn sense.
But is she transgender? And the answer to that is no. So, she can't play her. She can't play her. No, it is funny. Yeah. Russia and Ukraine is they are laughing at us. They are. I watch the news, and I'm on a lot of blogs, and I read so many comments about their opinions on American culture, and they think we're adorable now. They think we're just so stupid. It's true.
I'm not arguing with them, but what caused that, or what do they point to?
The fear, right? They're right. We have a lot of fear of being called certain things, and it all comes down to self-censorship, right? So even comedians, they self-censor now. I think you see this, Matt, right?
I would say especially comedians, not even.
Right, especially comedians. This need to please everyone, because Ukrainians, Russian, I would say a lot of Eastern Europeans understand that not everyone will be happy. Not everyone will be pleased. Not everyone's a winner.
When you have the biggest nuclear meltdown in your backyard, you realize not everyone's going to be happy.
Right. And we have this, what was that? Animal Farm, Orwell. Some of us, we're all
more equal, but some are more equal.
Yeah, some are more equal than others. Yeah, and that's their kind of motto, and they're okay with that, right? But here it's like everyone needs to be a star. Everyone is talented, first of all. Everyone is beautiful, regardless of, weight, face, really anything. And they just don't believe in that over there. They feel like our standards have dropped in America, and I don't disagree with them. They have. We've opened the door to, anyone can be whatever they want to be as long as they believe. And that's adorable.
It's like a Disney movie, but in real life.
It's a Disney movie. Yeah, yes. It's like a Disney movie. It's true. So they also, not to be political, they do think Biden is very weak. And I don't even mean right, left. They're not afraid of him.
What?
I know. And they need to at least think that the leader of America is maybe an equal or will come with power if they get out of line, right? Because Russian women, I don't know if you know this, Matt. I know your history. You've dated a lot of Russian women in the past, but they like to feel a sense of someone being in control, right? They find that very attractive, and it's not a stereotype. A lot of Russian women like to be. God, this is gonna. I can't wait to have this taken out. Be put in their place. I know. Saying it, I know. But it's there. I know there's a better phrase for it, but they just like to feel the presence of a man, and they like to know that if they are in danger, they'll be protected, or if they are maybe crossing the line, they'll be told. And that's the majority of Eastern European people are like that. They are, and they just don't fear Biden's promises. I know.
Interesting.
This podcast is going to ruin my career.
Let's hope so.
I might have
to
move.
Get canceled.
Then you'll be big enough. Yeah, that means you've made it.
I might have to move to Tucson, you guys, if this gets so bad. Have you had any Eastern European people on?
We try not to.
Yeah, weird. They're weird, Does Romania count as Eastern European?
Yes.
Eastern Europe. Okay.
Yeah. What did you guys have someone from Romania?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
We've had a few. I'm a co-host, so we've had like 6 or 7 of these. But yeah, okay. we hope to have more Eastern Europeans. Well, I guess I'm one, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah. When does Eastern Europe stop? When is it what's like Southern Europe? Like Greece is not in Eastern Europe, but it's directly south of Romania. I can't hear you now.
Yeah.
No, There you go. You're good. You fixed it with your hand.
Yeah.
See, what would I do without men in my life?
Yeah, we just had to put you in your place.
You're about to cross the line, sweetie.
And now I'm turned on. Maybe Germany?
That seems like a good marker. Why not?
Yeah, let's just use Germany as a marker. Fuck it, everyone else does. Have you been back to not back, but have you visited your family roots?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be Yugoslavian. Now I'm Slovenian because the country keeps getting more and more like broken up. But
Right.
yes, in the 90s, I went. I think I've been a couple times, and I don't speak the language, but they're very sweet to me, and they just give me a lot of food and soup, and
They're
it's all
sweet to
good.
you. That's funny. They're sweet to you like you. Oh, I guess I can't say this word. They're sweet to you like you're retarded, right? They're like,
Kinda,
oh, look at this dumb American.
Sort of, or like I'm a pug or something. But
Yeah.
But I kind of get what you mean, and like they'll talk. I remember I had an uncle Ivan and an aunt Ivanka, and
No,
it always
you didn't. No, you didn't.
I visited them once, and I'm like, Mom, are they just yelling at each other the whole time? She's like, No, they're just talking, and I'm like shivering. I was like, but they're both like raising their voice.
That's so true. Actually, that's funny. People will always say that when me and my family are talking, and I'm like, "Нет, я тебе хочу сказать, я просто хотела поехать кушать." And they're like, "What is going on?" And I'm like, "I just said I love you, Mom and Dad. Have a good day."
Yeah,
Gosh, unbelievable.
that's pretty accurate.
That's true.
That's true with Iraqi Arabs, at least. When they have a conversation, they're very demonstrative and they're very explosive when they explain something. And I had to learn, like, hey, you know what? Those guys aren't actually fighting. You would know, you would see it if it flipped. But you're like, that's just elevated, excited talk. And they're talking about like lunch or something.
It's just funny because you said explosive.
Right.
Yeah,
yes.
That's all
They'll let you know. They'll let you know when it's explosive for sure. Irina's stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just stuck with a good smile.
Iraqi is your background?
No, I was a spy in the army, and so I spent a lot of time in.
Oh, am I stuck? I'm stuck?
No,
you're
not
not
anymore.
stuck anymore. You're fixed. You're perfect now.
You were a spy in the army?
I was, yeah.
Wait, you're a spy? You were a spy in the army?
I was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know.
What was your? I mean, were you just called a spy? There isn't like a technical name.
No, I mean, look, they don't have a name. They have a name that means nothing. You know, like in the army, I would be a counterintelligence agent, a special agent, right? But to anybody else on the other side, they're like, "What's that guy doing here?" You know, my job was to find things out. But I got to have a lot of conversations. I went to Bosnia, I went to Iraq, I went to Afghanistan, I went to Egypt, I went to a bunch of other places, and I've been able to see a lot of different parts of it. I've been able to see what hardship looks like. You know, like there is no sewer system.
Yeah.
You know. And we always talk about the 1%. It's like, back up the camera because we are the 1%. Everybody in America.
I always say that. If you're in America, you're the 1%.
Yeah.
Like whenever I get off the train, when I'm going through Europe and I'll get off the train anywhere, there are kids. I mean, just young kids missing limbs, right? Asking for money. Old senior citizens. Living on the street, and it's like in America, if we saw that, we would stop it right away. I mean, I don't mean California, I mean real places.
Yeah, outside of LA, yeah.
Outside of LA, right. But it's the 1%, and I tell people how lucky they are. Yeah. You know, oh, you're sad because you didn't get a new iPhone. What? Right. Yeah. It's just I do feel very privileged in that regard that I got to see what real privilege is in the rest of the world.
How many homes in America do they own a boat and don't even ever use it? Just rots in their front yard, side yard, garage. No, they're so wealthy they can own a boat and do nothing with it.
Yeah, you know? When my uncle came here and saw our garage, he thought it was a room, and when he found out it was a room for a car, he was just shocked by that. Yeah. He was like, he was telling everyone back home, like, you have a room for your car. That's how well you're doing. I know. I do want to later. I want to get back to the whole spy thing.
Whenever you want.
I mean, I am 1,000% more. Make that sentence work. More, just like so intrigued now. Wow, that's awesome. I was actually married to a cryptological linguist in the Air Force, so I met a lot of really, really intriguing guys who had very similar jobs to the one you had. How long were you in the military for?
I was better being with the Army than in it, because I get a little mouthy, but they loved my skills. So I worked with the military, State Department, that kind of thing for let's call it 15 years overall, you know. So a
Wow.
lot of time, most of that overseas. So I've seen a lot of what hardship is. I've seen a lot of what, you know, like we bring our model of success to them, losing track of the fact that, like, you know, we don't have the best record of these things ourselves. So we would bring these
That's
feminist programs, you know, and try to like empower females, and you know, it just doesn't. You're talking to farming folks, you know,
right? Regardless of their culture and what their culture, you know,
a real arrogance, right? That's what we would bring.
Right. Like our way is the best way, right? We know what's good for you. Yeah.
We're gonna drop laptops on your farmland and have you automate everything.
Right.
That's true. That's funny. Wow.
We're gonna teach you goat herders how to code. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is 100% true story. This is great. We went to this village and we had female soldiers go and grab the Iraqi female ladies, and they're like, "We're going to show you how to use tampons and pads." And they're like, "You understand? Again, you're so precious, Army girls. We have those here." You know?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That worked out well, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a big hit.
We're
and then of
uniting.
course, when we brief it, it's like, we saw 80 ladies and gave them tampons. And it was like, yeah, we won the war. You know,
you fixed everything. Well done, guys.
Wow, that's
yeah.
Wow, that's
USA.
awesome.
USA.
I'm trying to. There's a big Air Force base here in Tucson, and I'm trying to put on a big comedy show here for them. There seems to be a lot of red tape right now, but I'm really interested in the idea of not USO tours, but more military tours here in America, like, you know, comedy tours.
Great idea.
Well, you got to do Bastards with us.
Yeah, there'll be a big military crowd, I'm sure. It's not far from Camp Pendleton, and
I would absolutely love to. I'm really interested in a man who's gone a good majority of the year. They're
the best husband.
That's my type.
They're also the best wives too. The wives get hotter at the PXBX when their husbands are out of town. I swear to God, this is true.
No, I know. No, I know. I believe you. Yeah. Funny.
I want to ask you about guns, because you're very openly pro-gun, and I'm just curious. How do you get to that point? I mean, Arizona is a place where I think it's all open carry and constitutional. It's very simple to get a gun there, but we don't see crazy shooting there all the time either. So it sort of defies what the narrative is. Why are you so comfortable with it?
How'd you know I was pro-gun?
It's all over your social media. Not all over, but it's in there, you know?
Yeah, I am pro-gun. I can't even hide it anymore. Why am I pro-gun? I have about 5 handguns here in Arizona, and like 4 rifles, some semi-automatics, and I think it's because I don't like the idea of being helpless. I don't like the idea of someone. Look, men are stronger than me, regardless of what science says. I'm not going to be able to take a man down. All right. So regardless of the Krav Maga I know and the Aikido, I'm going to need to protect myself. And last year was a crazy time. So when I did move to Arizona, I knew I wanted to be able to protect myself. And I knew that I like the idea of shooting as well. To me, it involves a lot of discipline, and it involves a lot of really sensitivity, as crazy as that sounds. You can't have a gun and just put it wherever you want and leave it wherever you want, right? It involves, you have to take care of this thing. It's like an extension of you in a way, right? And you have to know how to wield it. And with great power comes great responsibility. So to me, it was kind of a no-brainer to be able to protect yourself, to also respect the power that a gun has, right? I mean, it can kill you. So respecting that. And also, I like shooting. It gives me a sense of calm. It makes me feel calm, and it's a cool release. So it is open carry. in Arizona, and I don't know. I do feel safer. I always joke though. A guy can just take a gun away from me really quickly. So I always joke about just making sure to keep distance, because basically the gun that I have is going to be used against me. And I grew up with guns. My dad was in the military. My grandpa was in the military. I was married to a man in the military. So I've always been around them and I've always respected them. I find that Arizona has less shootings because more people have guns and they respect them. So if you are going into a place where the goal is to maybe shoot someone, the thought is always, well, who else has a gun? And if the answer is literally everyone, it kind of makes you rethink maybe your approach.
Yeah, fair enough.
Everyone that I know here does have a gun, and they don't just take it out randomly, right? To like brag or to, yeah, right.
You have to have a few drinks in you first, then you take it out to show off, right?
Well, that's a Russian party. They don't. They're very careful, right? Like if you take it out, you better be ready to use it. And it is also a last resort if you feel like your life is in danger. So to me, I'm around a lot of people who are very mature about the way they look at the world, very strategic, and it's not something that you put on Instagram, right? Like, hey, look what I have. Yeah. It's about protecting your home, what you own. Also, again, I live in Arizona, and we do have a lot of people here who have. I don't live too far from the border. We have a lot of illegal crossings here. That's not political. That's a fact. And we have to be able to defend ourselves. Short answer.
Good answer, though.
What in LA, you're not allowed to, I think, even have a pocket knife? Is that right?
You can have a photograph of a knife. As long as it's not too sharp.
That's funny. You can have a photo. That's funny. You can have a photograph of a knife. That's true. I had one of those little stiletto, like little switchblades that I got at the surplus store in LA, and it was whenever I would, and anyone would like have my keys and they would see it. It was they would just freak out. It was the scariest possible thing. Funny enough, I don't know how funny this is. It's a really sharp knife. It's maybe about, I don't know, the length of a penis. And I flew with it. I can fly with it anywhere. And it never beeps when it goes through security. Huh. Yeah. So
Magic
tell that
knife.
to your buddies.
Yeah. Don't mess with her.
Security.
This Ukrainian girl cracked the code, Pete.
Yeah. I have one of those tactical pens. Have you seen these things?
Let me see.
It looks like this.
Wow.
It's made out of aluminum. I can jam this in someone's neck easy. It's got pokey ends and stuff on it.
Oh my God.
And I highly recommend that people travel with these. 100% legal to travel with this. It's just an aluminum pen. But this thing can do some damage, you know? Wow. Nobody wants to get poked with this. It's ouchy, you know?
I feel
Sorry,
like
I have one of these, and I write really nasty online comments if you irk me. So be careful, Irina and Pete.
The pen is mightier.
I will tag you.
The pen is mightier than the sword. We all know that.
That's true.
Especially when it's jammed into your eyeball. We learned about that yesterday on the show.
Now you're really flirting with me. Come
on.
on.
I was like, I can go.
Come on. That's cool. I actually want one of those. Where did you get it?
You just type in tactical pen. There's a zillion of them out there. Just go to Amazon. There's all kinds of. I highly recommend them. I don't recommend harming anybody ever, but you know.
No. Me either. No, me either. I will say also, since I've moved to Tucson, I go between Tucson and Phoenix, and maybe in the last 8 months, people have come up to my car in traffic or at a red light. They've come up to my car because they thought maybe I cut them off on the road, or they didn't like something, and they were like banging on my car. You know, yelling like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And knowing that I don't take my gun out, but knowing if they break my window or something, I can protect myself. It does make me feel better. And I'm a comedian, and I get home sometimes at 2-3 a.m. So that's the other thing, walking somewhere at night alone, it is dangerous.
I would hope I would never be in a situation where I'd have to, use any kind of significant force like that. But my philosophy from being a combat guy is if you say that, if you threaten me or the people around me or someone else, I believe you.
Right.
Same. Like
you're not going to ask twice. But like, are you really going to kill
banging
me?
on my car window saying you're going to kill me?
Is this a big expression, or are we flirting again?
Yeah.
But I think you take that seriously because combat, right?
Right. Yeah.
So the same to me applies with guns, right? If you know what a gun is and you know how to use it and you know what it can do, you take it seriously.
You do. Yeah.
Do you shoot, Matt?
Badly. My father was 8 years in the Marines and is a great shot. So every year or so I go to near Camp Pendleton and in Oceanside, there's some shooting range, and my wife is actually really good, even though she didn't grow up with guns. So I'm kind of the embarrassment. Like I do, but not well.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the picture that your wife is better at you than everything.
Yeah, but she's at work and I'm talking to you two right now. So who's winning?
No, you definitely. I met her at it was like a housewarming or something at your house. I mean, what you leveled up. I mean, come on.
Thank you. That was when my mom was desperately trying to hook you up with my brother, and I was like, "This won't be good for either of them." But she loved you. Maybe
I'm just
it was
finding this out right now. Oh my God! Where does your brother work? How close to death is he?
Not close enough for your taste. Sorry.
Okay, well then have him call me in 40 years. I'll be
fair enough.
I didn't know that. I do remember your mom. She was very sweet. I'm not surprised because I think of all the comedians I know, you might be the smartest.
Wow. Well, you need to know more comedians.
No, I know all of them. I'm a woman.
That's true.
You're very quietly a genius.
Can we just clip this part, Pete? And I want to use the thank you.
Right. I'll put a mark in there and make sure I put that out. Yes.
And now I'm blushing. But,
how did you guys find each other?
In LA, we were a match. I was just trolling for hookups, and then I meet some med student who actually went to high school with my roommate. She was a few years younger, but I got to do some recon. See, I was a spy too, Pete. I asked my roommate what this girl was like in high school, and so she passed the test, and then now we're married. It'll be 12 years this weekend. So
congratulations!
Thank you.
No, I meant how did you and Pete meet?
Oh, that's what I thought you meant, and I'm like,
I thought you were talking about our mutual friend Brad Hutchins.
I like the Hollywood hookup part of the story. Go back to that.
I thought he was trans because he was, I thought that's where the story went because you're talking about a girl, and I was like,
sorry, got to be a better listener. I was still so flummoxed when you said I was quietly brilliant, so it's hard to focus.
I used to live in Chicago, and I stayed at my friend's house for a lot when I would come back from Iraq for vacations and stuff. And he lived right outside of the gay part of town, right by Wrigley Field. Okay. And I'm such a bear that when I would go shopping with him, this is 100% true. Dudes would run in. That's
a gay term, right?
Right. Yeah. And so dudes would run into like the entire can of tomato stack, and they always wanted to know where I worked out. Like they were like, it was.
You're a piece of ass there, Pete.
Yeah, exactly. I was bearlicious. Yes.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Pete, you better send me a picture when this is over.
Oh yeah.
I was raised by a bear too, so I'm a good judge of who's a real bear.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like in Ukraine, my dad was a bear and my mom was an Adidas tracksuit, so I know all about.
So we miss you. I mean, I waste time on Facebook, sadly, and I'm embarrassed to say that. But you were so good on it, never afraid of controversy, but probably for your mental health. I noticed you've taken a break, and how has your life improved as a result? Is my question.
I had to take a break because I kept going into Facebook jail.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to take a break because I kept saying I kept writing facts and statistics and about science and about history. And, you know, people don't like those things. So people kept, you know, snitching on me. And I ended up there a lot. And I have this love-hate relationship with social media. I'm young enough that I need to be able to embrace it, but I grew up in a home with you know, Soviet era grandfather and, you know, a dad who is such a real you know, anti-communist, pro-capitalism. It's hard because I want to go on there, but I keep offending people, and I don't try to. I really don't. I don't know how to do it. I even stopped going on Instagram. I do have to post because if you have an
We can't hear you right now. Oh, there it goes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You said
so
if you have to post and then it cut out.
You have to have an audience, right? To have a career.
Right.
You don't need an agent anymore. You don't need LA. You don't need any of that stuff. If you have your own audience, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I have to, I guess, find this sweet spot between posting what I really think and feel and staying in the parameters where I won't be erased as a person, right? The majority of people I know don't even have a social media anymore because they've been kicked off everything. I mean, they've become an unperson, right? So what do you do from there? Like, how do you regain your livelihood? So
you can't even tell jokes.
I know.
I made the most benign, and I'm not, you know, I'm funny, but I'm not a comedian. And so someone posted something, and I said something like, you know, damned Russians. And I think it was those two words. And it was obviously a joke. And then the tone that Facebook came back, it's like, you have made a mistake. And I'm like, I have? I thought I made a joke. You know? And I didn't go to jail, but they challenged it. And then they said, you know, next time you make a mistake. And I'm like, I didn't make a mistake. I told a joke. And then I got not kicked off, but me and Twitter broke up. So I can't go on Twitter and they won't answer my appeal. But I wrote a joke about a dead president, Zachary Taylor, who's been dead since 1850. And it's clearly a joke. And I don't know what you're supposed to do if you can't make a joke about something. You know, they said I was inciting violence. And I don't know how many, you know, Zachary Taylor backers there are out there.
Yeah, that's insane. I think the majority of people have no idea who Zachary Taylor is.
I think that's
it's funny, you know?
Yeah. You know, interesting enough, I think maybe the person who complained about you on the Russian thing probably wasn't even Russian.
I'm sure they weren't.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of people who want to complain for other people. But I don't know, Matt. I mean, like, or I guess both of you, but Matt specifically because you're a comedian. Where's the balance with, you know, I have so many people who message me like, hey, you know, we miss you. Keep putting stuff up. And it's not fear. Like, I'm not afraid. My worry is that I'm just going to get removed. And then where do I talk to those people? How do I find them? You know, where do I go? Gab?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I guess you get their number eventually and you can text, but yeah, that's the challenge. I mean, I try to just kind of post jokes and not engage too much because it's just I'm never there to convince anyone. I don't think social media is a great way to change minds, but I think it is good to like poke and have fun. Yeah. And I do have this like very immature, you know, I kind of like seeing when people have a reaction, and I'm really not there to, I don't enjoy hurting anyone. I really don't, but it's fun to see like when you write something like Pete said, that's benign. Like if you're trying to be a dick and someone comes at you, that's fine. But like if it's just like kind of innocent and then people get all butthurt, I just think that's hilarious. I do.
I
love it, and I think I always will.
Are you on TikTok?
No, I'm too old.
No, I think you would actually be great on TikTok. I do. I think you would actually be so funny. You should try it.
Maybe I will, because I mean, every time I'm on any social media, like if I have a show and I promote it, I feel like, all right, I did something. But if I'm like just on
Yeah.
it other than writing. I'm like, this is terrible.
Well, I mean, you can sort of bring your jokes to life on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's gotten so bad for me. I'm almost thinking about creating an OnlyFans account just for my jokes.
Yeah.
I know.
Do it.
It's like they're gonna pay money, right, to see a bunch of naked chicks, and it's like, well, why don't you pay money to hear my jokes? I mean, I'll keep my clothes on, but the jokes, they're
It's worth a
it.
shot. It's worth a shot. I like it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll show my feet, right? That's a whole
Yeah.
thing now too. Like
Yeah.
every guy's into feet pics.
We're
So there you go.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. My dad has been kicked off of Facebook too numerous times. He has maybe like 15 accounts, because he's also a threat to America or some shit. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that, because it's not even friends I want to keep in touch with. It's really people who saw me on stage and want to know, want to keep up with me and want to support me. And I don't know what to do. I haven't figured it out.
Well, if you're in Arizona, maybe you'll get your own following there from actual live shows, and pretend it's 1987 and do it that way. I'm just guessing.
Well, no, yeah, I actually just did a pretty big show. I brought Brian Callen in to one of our nice clubs, and even that I posted, Brian Callen, blah blah blah, and people reported me and said I was a rape apologist and said that I hate women, and they took that post down.
You're like, yes, and it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, I was like, I have never apologized for rape. No, I'm kidding. I don't rape apology. What are you fucking talking about?
It's lunacy. Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason.
Innocent until proven guilty. I don't know, but even that, I didn't post a joke or anything. I just posted the flyer for my show, and I got a warning from Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's funny, because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
That's true. But hey, if you still have those contacts in the military, maybe you can ask them to help me out there somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but maybe they can put in a good word for me.
It works slow. We actually were talking about it the other day. And I'll follow up with you later on this. I think you'll want to hang out with us. But we were going to go to El Paso has a huge post, and I was like, hey, we're doing this event. We should see if we can just do it on post. And then Scott reminded me. He's like, think about that. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. The public affairs person will not respond to my email until after we've done the event 2 months from now, and then they'll say no at that point. Yeah. So it's like you can get through those barriers, but you're better off avoiding them. Not because of anything bad happening, just their job literally, a public affairs officer's job literally is to put a public face on what they do and to invite and be open. And I'll be damned if they're the shittiest at it. They're just so terrible at following up, and every time I have to deal with them, I do, because I know the deal with them, but it's never pleasurable. It's never professional. It's always extra work. So if you want something that's not professional, not pleasurable to go onto a post, then do it.
Yeah,
but
sounds good.
But I would say just don't want to show outside of the post, and just, do Facebook targeted ads for the Davis Monthan and say, here, I'm doing a comedy show, and just do it.
Yeah. I mean, they have their own internal sort of advertising and areas where they'll let their people know, but I want to bring Tony Hinchcliffe to Tucson, and I know that that's gonna cause a issue. But I want to do a show where it's Hinchcliffe, then it's D'Elia, then I'm gonna have Bill Cosby. I love the idea of people being canceled. I love it, and I love bringing them onto a show, because it's the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Canceling they didn't murder anyone, okay? It's unforgivable. Whatever anyone did, it is unforgivable, and there's no way to come back. Who are you to decide that? Get off your fucking high horse.
Yeah.
No, so I would love to do your show though, if you guys
done
the Bastard show.
I think they'll love you, and it'll start August, it looks like.
It looks like August, and we're going to start with one show a month. This is for everybody listening at Bastards in Temecula, and then as we build up the following, we'll do more, because We want more comedians, more comedy. We want more people who are canceled to come in and show us how funny they are.
Yeah.
You know?
It is funny. It's a lot of the times it's people who are funny that are canceled, right?
Yeah. I love the duplicity posts too. You did some of them like with the blackface thing where we get all offended about blackface. There's Jimmy Kimmel, and I'm like, don't we all remember him? You know, like it's like, come on. We got to calm down a little bit.
I've realized if you say the right words, the words that they want to hear, then you can have whatever actions you want. Actually, it'll be forgivable in their eyes because you said the right thing.
Right. Yeah.
So and I can't do it. I mean, I when the censorship thing happened and all of that, I had a really long conversation with people about maybe, you know, I'll fake it, or I'll become really woke or this or that. And it was like, I don't even know why I entertained that. I would never be able to keep it up. I don't want to. And honestly, if I had a choice between being a shitty SJW comedian or being hilarious and being canceled, I'd pick that one, you know?
Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a hero, you guys.
You are. You're my hero. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for having me, though. It's an hour, right?
Yeah. We can turn this thing off here. Yeah, everybody definitely go check out. Where should they go for social media? Because you're not doing it that much.
I mean, just come down to my house. I'm at 4969 East Bellevue Street.
She has 5 guns, so be careful.
And some rifles.
Yeah, and some rifles and a pug. I have a show this weekend. Well, I'm coming down to LA. I go down there like twice a month. So the next show I have a few shows here in Tucson. Then I have Phoenix coming up.
Oh, cool.
House of Comedy. So I'll be posting it on. I'll post my shows on Instagram and Facebook.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, stand by, you two.
Hey, thanks for watching the show. I really appreciate it. Right here, you can subscribe. Please do that. It makes the show grow. Hit that notification bell so you know which incredible guest is coming up next. Down below is the PayPal link. You can put a small subscription in. That is an enormous help. All that money goes right back into the show. And then right up over here are the next episodes you should listen to, curated by yours truly. Thank you so much.